A quick warning before we begin. This episode contains very strong and offensive language. The emails you're about to hear are those received by Hannah, voiced by actors.
When you are told to be classy, we mean classy, you slut.
It might sound like a strange thing to say, but when a stalker stops contacting their victim, the relief the victim feels can be tinged with unsettling thoughts. I mean, I remember you rang me and you said this is like really crazy, but they've just stopped coming.
Yeah.
We had a like, what the fuck moment.
Yeah, it is. It's really what the fuck.
For more than 3 years, Hannah dealt with a barrage of insults and threats.
Get tested.
Sent by her anonymous stalker.
Stop being the naturals. How do you look into the mirror every day sweating and not kill yourself?
Messages we now believe were sent by Kin, the charming older man she first met at London Fashion Week.
He was really busy and he kind of knew everyone and he was, let's catch up later and I can really help you out.
Messages
We start to take control of your online reputation management.
that continued for more than 3 years until suddenly, on one day in 2021, they just stopped.
And when it stops, I was like, shit, what's happening now?
We still don't know why it stopped. We don't even know where Kin is today. Although his London lawyers have been replying to us. Through them, he vehemently denies ever stalking or harassing Hannah. But there are still so many things about Kin that just don't add up. Questions he's not really answered. So in this episode, we're going to unpack what we think we know about Kin. And for that, we need to go back to the beginning.
Hey, this is just to email contact you and
Starting back at London Fashion Week in 2015.
Photo didn't come through on a message you sent me.
And to the Kin
Maybe
that
you
Hannah
emailed me
knew
photo.
then,
There's nothing stopping you to come to Milan.
the well-connected fashion buyer who wanted to help her out with her career.
A good commission structure.
Someone impeccably dressed,
Below is my schedule to
dined at exclusive restaurants,
guest list.
and went to fancy tennis tournaments in his spare time.
Wimbledon Devonshire tickets for tomorrow's Centre Court ladies final.
International
Glamorous.
jet setter.
Just going to the Dolce & Gabbana catwalk and after party.
If you look as hard as we have, you can actually spot him among the celebrities at exclusive events. In one photo, he's sitting next to a catwalk right behind one of fashion's biggest names, Vogue's editor-in-chief, Anna Wintour.
In another, Kin is sitting front row in a cream suit, clapping his hands as a designer comes onto the runway.
In another photo, you can see Kin deep in conversation behind a row of glamorous London socialites posing for the cameras. All these photos seem to confirm Kin is a high flyer in the fashion industry. Someone who seemed so at home here, you would never question how he got in. Until we start asking just that.
Hey, this is Georgia calling from BBC.
Did you believe that he actually did know Jimmy Choo?
Hi Jimmy, Kung Hai Fat Choi.
K-I-N.
We'd like to check if you do have a legitimate business relationship with him. From BBC Sounds, this is Stalked.
If he's that successful, maybe people like him would like to be interviewed.
I'm Hannah Mossman-Moore.
And I'm Carole Cadwalladr.
What did he tell you he did? He told you he was a buyer for somewhere.
Episode 6, The Peak. The fact is, Kin was never really upfront about what he did.
Working hard and partying harder is Milano.
He told Hannah he was an
Milano
international
Fashion Week
buyer,
that celebrates Italy in all its wonders.
but he was always pretty vague.
Just seen Giorgio Armani catwalk this morning.
Almost always. There's an email chain Hannah has from London Fashion Week in 2016.
We would like 4
In
prime
it,
sitting tickets
Kin
for
is
your
trying to
autumn
secure
winter
front row
2016
tickets
show.
on behalf of a major Hong Kong clothing company. called Trinity.
I work as a business development manager for Trinity Limited based in Hong Kong.
It's him saying, this is what we do.
Retailing of high-end to luxury menswear. Trinity's brand, carefully selected
With this
from the world
huge menswear brand.
from across the globe for the greater China market. Trinity is now evaluating various designers.
We've looked into this company, Trinity, and learned that at the time, it was part of an even bigger business called the Fung Group. But if Kin really did work for them, it's hard to find any record of it. The obvious place to start, a Google search doesn't give you very much. We tried different combinations of his name, plus fashion, plus Trinity, plus Fung Group, plus buyer, but we get nothing. So we need some help.
So yeah, I have experience in doing this kind of investigative reports back in Hong Kong. So, like researching, analysing public data sources such as social media and that sort of things. Yeah.
This is Jack Sang. He's originally from Hong Kong, where he worked as a journalist for more than 5 years. We asked Jack to find out what he could about Kin, and it turns out not knowing his actual name in Cantonese is not a very good start.
It's very difficult to identify his Chinese name accurately since there are several homophones for his names, for the characters. It's difficult if you don't have the actual Chinese character.
So after a lot of dead ends, we finally managed to get Kin's Chinese name. We already know his name in English, Kin Hung. It's in the UK company registry and it's how the police referred to him. But Hannah remembers him occasionally using other names, like David. With Kin's Cantonese name, Jack trawled the web and pressed his contacts. But even then,
nothing particular came up.
Like us, Jack was hitting dead ends.
I couldn't find any trace of him using like Facebook or Instagram. I also looked up at the legal reference system of the judiciary in Hong Kong to see if he was involved in any legal cases in Hong Kong, on local news reports or any other information online. I wasn't able to locate any relevant information. There was nothing.
Which led Jack to a conclusion.
I mean, if he's that successful businessman in Hong Kong, maybe people like him would like to be interviewed by some media, or some press will approach him to do some interviews as well. So it puzzled me that I couldn't find any news reports or interviews of him.
It puzzled us too, but then we remembered something. Those early hackers back in 2018 said something about Kin's online presence, or lack of it.
Why he spent so much money to erase himself from the internet and add fake personal info to throw us off the trail?
When I say hackers, we now think that was Kin, pretending to be hackers.
He thinks he is a ghost on the internet and so clever.
On the internet and so clever. He can throw us off the trail with fake info.
Now, here's something that I've learned in my work, that people who are good at finding stuff can also be good at hiding stuff. If you know where to dig for information online, there's also a good chance that you'll know how to cover your tracks. But for us, it's all quite frustrating. We've been on this a while now, and it doesn't feel like we're making much progress. And then we get something.
So I started by contacting some of the designers who put on the shows that Kin attended.
It starts with those photos of Kin taken at catwalk shows going back more than a decade. Rob's been looking into them.
To be honest, initially they weren't particularly helpful.
Bit more oomph, please, Rob.
Yeah, thank you. But, you've been waiting for that.
Oh, yeah. That's a joke, by the way, because Rob keeps on telling me more oomph. So I finally get to turn the tables.
And yes, I had a cold here.
Okay.
I was able to put those old photos of Kin into a facial recognition tool. That allowed me to find a more recent picture of him, and it's the most recent one we've ever seen. It's at a catwalk event in London. Can you see him there?
Oh, hold on. Where is he? Oh, there. Oh, my goodness. There are 2 rows, and you can see on the left-hand side, right on the front row, is a man we recognise.
It's a pretty good bit of tech that it picked him out. So, unlike the other designers that I'd previously tried, the person who hosted this fashion show was actually pretty curious when I called them. And
amazing shot.
Thank you, come on in.
So beautiful.
Agreed to meet.
Hi.
Bingo.
Oh. Hello.
The owner of this very cute but quite loud dog is the designer who has agreed to speak to us. She's asked that we don't use her real name, so we're going to call her Alicia.
And we'll do a fitting. Usually it's a kind of mix of different designs.
This is where Alicia works. We're surrounded by dresses and jackets, really bold, bright colours. Her style feels like it's a blend of old and new.
So I don't make any clothes stock now. I do the samples and then we make everything to order.
But we're not here to talk about Alicia's designs, as beautiful as they are. We want to ask her about the show that Kin turned up at. In the months leading up to it, Alicia was working hard to prepare and wanted to make sure that the right people were in the front row.
It costs thousands to put on a London Fashion Week show. So much. And those front row seats, they're prime retail, aren't they? They're kind of, you want really important people there who are actually going to support you, write about you, help you. That's why we do it. It's an investment, isn't it?
So Alicia was pleased when people started contacting her to attend, including someone representing a major Asian fashion group.
There was a link to the store that he says he works for. It looked fairly legitimate. They'd said they were buyers.
The company they were writing from was called Fung Retail. And to Alicia, Fung Retail seemed a good fit.
With this collection, we were possibly working with different buyers in different countries. So in that respect, I guess it would have been interesting for us. They'd obviously found the show on the schedule, emailed through the RSVP on the schedule, asked to come. We let them in. We'll do, a bit of background checking. Fashion Week's mad.
So Alicia's colleague sent over the tickets. And that's how Kin got into the event. And not just into the event, but onto the front row.
I remember he would always have 2 or 3 tickets to these shows. And
Fashion Week shows are money can't buy, really, aren't they? You can't just pay for a ticket for London Fashion Week. You've got to be the right person to get access. So the fact that he's getting access, it's exciting for the people he's taking with him. What did he tell you he did? He told you he was a buyer for somewhere.
so he was always very vague. I thought, oh, he's a really successful, wealthy guy who doesn't want to show off about who he is.
And if he was vague, well, that fits with the fashion buyer image. They're notoriously elusive and hard to get details for.
It's literally impossible to get hold of buyers. Yeah, exactly. It's really hard.
And you call through to I'm going to be blacklisted from all the stores. Shit. But you call through to the head office and you're like, could I speak to this buyer? And they're like, we don't put people through to the buyers.
That's why you do things like London Fashion Week.
Yeah.
And even then, it's really hard to, you meet a buyer and they don't give you their details and they say, we'll be in touch. And
they flip their badge.
Yeah, exactly.
They think they're gods.
Exactly.
Yeah, please don't include that.
That front row event, that was the last time Alicia heard from Kin or the company he was representing.
If I'm not mistaken, I think someone emailed him afterwards for a follow-up because, we'll obviously try and follow up with any guests and say, right, do you want to come and have a private meeting? Do you want to talk about it more? And got no response.
Rob, you emailed the fun group, didn't you? What did they say?
So they told me they weren't able to confirm whether or not Kin had actually worked for the fun group for a lot of reasons, but partly because companies like Trinity actually no longer exist.
We're yet to find any evidence that Kin worked for the Fung Group or any of its other companies like Trinity. We did find something about Kin's businesses, though. A record of Kin in the UK shows him as the sole director of 2 companies that have since ceased trading. These companies have names we recognise from email addresses Kin was contacting Hannah from. Both are food-related. One, an Italian chocolate company, and the other, a company called Foods I Adore. We start by looking at the Italian chocolate company.
He would often say that he was going to visit the team in Italy, just check in with the guys. And he would send me messages saying, they always get me so drunk on limoncello. The Italians know how to party. And he did sometimes bring me chocolate. and say it was from his company.
Now, there is a chocolate company in Milan that Kin is connected to, but not quite as he presented it.
I contacted the company in Italy.
Here's what they told Rob.
They told me basically that Kin had approached them.
The company was founded from a potential partner.
Their email is read by an actor.
A few years ago wanted to develop our business in the UK.
That he was going to be doing a UK subsidiary of their business, but it never really took off.
But the relationship didn't go forward. After a while, we asked him to close it.
So there was a court order to wind up that company in 2014. Yet Kin was still using an email address with that company's name in 3 years later. It was a Gmail address, though.
Let me know if there are any issues that we need to investigate, since the company has a name that could be mistakenly be attributed to our brand.
And what about the other company, Foods I Adore? Both Kin and his executive assistant, Claire, sent messages from a Foods I Adore email. And so what about the other company, Foods I Adore, the one that Claire used to email from?
Hi Hannah, this is Kin's EA Claire. I am rescheduling Kin's lunch at Google today before he leaves for Paris Fashion Week, and Kin wonders whether you would like to join him.
Yeah, that's no longer in business either. We managed to get hold of a list of people who apparently worked for the company. Some of the names were quite generic, but I managed to track down one of those people on LinkedIn. This was a person who met Kin socially in London some years ago, and he says, no, I've never worked for him. I just happen to know him. And so Kin appears to be using this guy's name as a fake employee of a company that he owned.
We found a number for Foods I Adore, which showed it was based at a co-working space in Surrey. And we called it. They did know Kin and confirmed he was based there, but they said they hadn't seen him for a while.
Hi Hannah, this is Kin's
There's
EA.
another person we know who has an email linked to this company, Kin's EA, Claire Perrin.
Nice to meet you.
The Claire who would help with Kin's diaries.
Tickets for the Ai Weiwei exhibitions.
Sending Hannah lunch invites and tickets to fashion events. Claire's been busy.
I did a bit of digging into the old emails.
So this is a little bit complicated, but Kin's EA got the tickets to Alicia's show using the Fung company name.
We found that his assistant, Claire, had emailed us.
Hi. Please find the ticket request for your AW.
She emailed us the year before, actually, requesting for seats for our show the year before.
Very best, Claire.
And we said no.
But the email address was from Foods I Adore, and at the bottom of the request is an address, not Hong Kong, but the same co-working space in Surrey we just called. Alicia never spoke to or met Claire, and neither... Did you ever meet Claire?
No.
Did Hannah?
He said she's been in the family for a long time. She's the family EA.
Some of the emails Claire sent to Hannah, even early on, just seemed a bit odd.
It's a shame you couldn't stay in Paris for the remainder of Fashion Week.
A bit over the top on details of Kin's lifestyle.
Kin is always antisocial when he is in Paris. You could have helped us to get him out of his hotel suite if you were here.
A lot of name dropping.
He went straight back to the hotel after dinner last night, missing the McQueen after party.
And then there was the fact that Claire was always there, especially when Hannah was trying to get distance from Kin.
Why drama now? I'm deeply hurt by what you said. Pretty shocked and really insulted.
After the so-called hack, Hannah was freaked out, so she stopped replying for a while.
Not sure whether you're still in London, but no response from you, and your mobile is off.
And then...
Dear family and friends,
Hannah got an email from Claire.
We are very sorry to inform you that Kin was admitted as an emergency to hospital in the early hours this morning. Regards, Claire. Claire Perrin, EA to Kin Hung.
Were you suspicious?
Yeah. I said I need to speak to Claire. I was in touch with Claire so much, I wanted to meet her or just have a phone call with her.
I will also speak to Claire tomorrow, asking for her permission to give you her mobile, but this is highly unusual and embarrassing. I should really take great exception to your questioning of my integrity. Please be assured, this is the only time I will do this. Hopefully this won't end badly.
And you never did speak to her?
No, he never gave me her number.
In fact, Kin did give Hannah a number after she asked to speak with Claire. Though not for Claire, but a PR woman who'd worked at London Fashion Week. We tried calling it and messaging, but never got a response. Making this series, we tried to find out more about Claire Perrin. Given Kin's international lifestyle, she could in theory be anywhere. But her email, Foods I Adore, is a UK company, so we started there. We searched for Claire Perrin online on the electoral roll and we found some names that matched. But none of them were the Claire that we were looking for. So all we have to go on for Claire at this time are those emails. And in those emails are clues like how often she signs off with this weird BRS.
Enjoy. Best. BR. Claire Perrin. Claire Perrin. EA to Kin Hung.
We don't even know, but we think that means best regards. And she's not the only one to use that phrase.
A prostitute like you is just pathetic. BR. We will make posters of prostitutes central. You whore. BR.
And there's more. Claire writes urgent attention.
This is an important email, and you should give it your urgent attention.
As does someone else.
This is an important email, and you should give it your urgent attention.
There was someone we wanted to talk to.
And then we start again with K. Kin and Q. Claire Perrin.
Here's Dr. Robert Leonard again, the forensic linguist who you heard from in episode 4. We've given him the emails sent by Claire and Kin to see how similar their writing is. And while we think we're getting quite good at this linguistic stuff, we're still very much amateurs.
The whilst writing.
One of the things Robert picks up on is both Claire and Kin using the more old-fashioned whilst.
Whilst writing, just a
Instead
reminder,
of
I
while.
have already...
Whilst writing, you know any nice restaurants with a cool bar like Soho? Whilst writing, are you still involved with international school?
As meaning because.
Sunday's not a good day for sketches. It's only partly open. Just spend Thanksgiving weekend in Miami. I just don't want to fly during
It's
the
for
busiest.
Bora Aksu Catwalk, as he knows it is special catwalk for you during LFW.
This weekend as I have
Redundancy.
Redundancy meaning words that don't really add anything.
I don't know why the hackers were targeting me, though.
I have no idea how he is going to make it, though.
Orthographic, grammatical, lexical preference for British English.
Such as saying hospital instead of the hospital, as they say in the US.
Highly appropriate, but it's quite consistent.
Kin was admitted as an emergency to hospital in the early hours
I had
this
to go back to hospital today. Sad face.
Number non-agreement.
Like referring to things in plural rather than singular.
You see any assistances?
Any assistances would be tremendously appreciated.
Should you require any further assistance...
You know, these are the kinds of things that are not exactly smoking guns, but they are idiosyncrasies that you see.
Dr. Leonard is wary of that term, smoking gun. And after comparing Claire and Kin's emails, his team picked up enough similarities to say the two sets of writing are consistent, the second highest ranking on their scale of likely common authorship. So when you take a step back from all this, where are we? Well, we still aren't sure what Kin did for work, but we're yet to find any evidence that Kin really is a big deal in the Asian fashion market. And the food companies he emailed from, well, they don't add up either. And his executive assistant, Claire, who was emailing Hannah, well, we think that may have been him as well. Through his lawyers, Kin rejects the claims made against him in this series in their entirety. He says they are completely false and without any foundation. Next, we turn to some of the other names that came up in the emails.
That I'm flying to London now, to the Gemini HQ, to once and all sort out that...
Capgemini is a major global IT company headquartered in Paris. And I'm completely sceptical when Georgia says we should call them and try and get some information. I mean, they'll say fuck off probably, but anyway, we can give it a go, can't we?
Yeah. Hey, this is Georgia calling from the BBC.
It was probably quite a strange call to get, but they listened.
My name is Kin. K-I-N.
And seemed interested. If you do have a legitimate business relationship. So the person we speak to goes away and checks. And a few days later, much to my surprise, Georgia gets an email.
It says, we've looked into it, but we can't find any record of a Kin Hung ever being a client.
And just to be doubly sure, Georgia then gave them a list of companies Kin has connections to and email addresses.
And they come back again and say, our finance team have checked the company names listed and confirmed that none of these are or were clients, according to our records.
So it looks like this company that Kin referenced multiple times.
Caught the hackers the very next morning.
Even invited Hannah to visit with him.
You are most welcome to join at Capgemini if you want to know.
They never even worked for him. A fake solution to a fake problem. But just when we're thinking, well, nothing about this man checks out, we're in for a surprise. Kin was always telling Hannah about the high-flying business people he knew. And at one point, he even introduced her to one who is actually one of the biggest names in fashion. He had a connection with London's leading fashion school, Central St Martin's, where Hannah was interested in studying.
Hi, Jimmy. Kung Hai Fat Choi.
Jimmy Choo is a very famous shoe designer, and Kin knew him, and he said he'd introduce him to Hannah.
Do you know the course leader or anyone involved?
Did you believe that he actually did know Jimmy Choo?
Catch up with you soon. Very best, Kin.
Yeah, I did.
And when we started work on this project, Rob emailed Jimmy. So, Rob, did Kin actually email Jimmy? What, have you found something out?
It turns out he does use that address. Because I emailed it and his assistant replied.
Well,
he asked Jimmy.
Oh, really?
He remembers Kin.
Wow.
They met on one occasion.
I'm not sure I'd remember somebody I met randomly once.
I mean, he must meet a lot of people. He seems like a big personality.
The thing is, he was a good networker. He was a good hustler. He has a way of drawing people in and sticking in their minds.
And it wasn't just the worlds of fashion and hospitality that Kin appeared connected in. He seemed to also know people who worked in real estate. And that was going to give us a breakthrough. Kin had what he called a crash pad in Florida and another in London, but he was looking to buy more.
He was always sending me details of fancy places on the market.
A country house with a difference. Did you know this house?
Asking my opinion about really upmarket neighbourhoods.
Hey, I viewed Hillfield Castle near Sherborne, near your old school. What do you think of this penthouse? The developer have just reduced the asking price on the impressive South penthouse from 17 million to 13 million.
Even asking me to attend viewings.
Now, I was wondering if you could do me a big favour and kindly pop over to Nova to have a look for me.
And it wasn't just London he was investing in.
I remember Kin sending me photos of this really spectacular apartment in Hong Kong that he said belonged to him.
Hong Kong is one of the most expensive real estate markets in the world. It's a tiny territory and land is at such a premium that most people's apartments are tiny, even by the standards of London or New York. And these photos suggest Kin is seriously wealthy.
It was this incredibly luxurious penthouse apartment with the most beautiful panoramic views. The architecture was stunning, the interior was clean lines, a beautiful stone curved standalone bath, ceiling to floor windows. You can see the city, the sea, mountains. It's probably one of the nicest apartments I've ever seen.
And these photos also contain useful details. If we can find the apartment, we might get closer to learning more about Kin.
The first thing I did was a reverse image search, and I couldn't find. It wasn't like they're on like an estate agent's listings or anything. So it looks like not present. Yeah.
It means Kin probably didn't just lift these exact images from an estate agent listing.
The photos see like amazing sort of views over Hong Kong. skyline, and in those, helpfully, are some very recognisable buildings.
Buildings which allow Rob to start narrowing down where the apartment might be.
This one here with these sort of crosses on is the Bank of China Tower, even bigger building. 2 International Finance Centre is behind those, which is on Hong Kong Island.
Kin always mentioned the island.
I'm getting bored on the island and running out of things.
I'm going to run away again to the island tomorrow.
By email before going to the island tomorrow.
Went onto Google Earth, started looking at skyline kind of matches the photos. Patio there is sort of a grey colour. The building here is also grey. Actually, a lot of the buildings in the vicinity are quite light coloured.
Which led Rob to a specific property.
Find this one here, zoom in.
Pollock's Path.
Pollock's Path.
And a real estate listing for it in 2019.
And there was a Facebook page created for the property, and on it there are a number of photos. We can then match some of the details in these photos to the ones that we've got. Kind of triangular shape on the balcony there. Clearly it's the same bathtub, the tap. Anyway, long story short, this is the same property.
Amazing. I enjoyed that little whole masterclass as well in open source investigation. But we're not over yet.
When it last appeared on the market in 2019, it appeared, for example, I'll show you here, Times article, hot properties, city skylines, and it's valued here at $113 million.
Wow.
It's referred to in quite a lot of the stuff about it as the peak.
The peak because, yes, it's actually at the peak of Hong Kong Island. And just like in an apartment building, the most expensive real estate is right at the very top. Kin is living in what you might call Hong Kong's penthouse. So he's either like one of the richest men in Hong Kong, and in the world, or he's a bullshitter. One or the other. The fact is, we've been working on this series for more than a year now. And while we know a lot about who Kin isn't, we still don't really know who he is.
I think the thing that terrifies me still is that I can't find out who this person is. I still don't know who I was dealing with because it's really hard to find stuff on him.
It is scary.
This is Jenny Radcliffe, the self-described ethical hacker you heard from in the last episode.
That still confuses you. I can hear it in your voice. And until we really understand what the goal was, if there was one, that will always be something I think that will prey on your mind. The question for me in all of this is how premeditated was it? And really, what was the end game?
Like me, Jenny is worried by Kin's behaviour.
And none of the answers that you come up with are good. It could be access to people you knew, it could be financial, or it could be something more, without wanting to frighten you, something more sinister. The real question for me is why? What is motivating this person, and what, if anything, was the end game?
Next time...
How do you go from being very active and around to having no footprint at all? And why do you do that?
You're either on the inside or you're on the outside.
Where are we?